So Simon, how important was it to get that win last weekend in terms of momentum going forward to what is the first Welsh derby of the season now?
Yeah, it was important after the second half against Leinster. We were by far second best in that 40 minutes, but we'd set a real good platform in the first half. Disappointing thing, we lost momentum and we couldn't regain control of the game. So getting a result, but also the performance I was pleased with. Lots of good things that came out of our game, which we'd worked on in the week, and getting that transfer from training to game was something that we worked hard on, and we saw the rewards of that. And getting the result against a tricky Treviso team, we know how difficult they can be. Come unstuck against them here last year, so pleased with that. And just putting things in perspective, we beat Leinster at home last year. We got 5 points. We lost to Treviso at home, so we're only 1 point different to where we were against the two sides we played against in the corresponding fixtures last year. So, putting it in perspective, disappointed in a Leinster game, but hopefully back on track now. Looking forward to the Dragons.
You talked a lot in the pre-season about leadership and the ability for that leadership group to take control. Was it really pleasing for you to see there was a little bit of part in the second half where maybe Treviso coming back, that you saw the game management, you saw that element of leadership across the field, as you said, for the two halves?
Yeah, I think there were certain players on the pitch that understood where we fell short against Leinster, and then they took that on board in the week, worked hard on it, and we saw the rewards of that against Treviso. And at 17-10, probably the week before, they got back and went ahead, if we're looking at the Leinster game, but against Treviso we just kept them at arm's length and kept chipping away at the scoreboard, and we were dominant really in the end, and didn't feel in the second half that they were ever really going to come back and threaten us, because we were playing in a certain way and in a controlled way which we didn't see in the second half against Leinster.
A lot's been said about the set piece and the platform that the forwards are providing now as well, and the dominance in the scrum. Obviously it's still early days, but a lot of hard work has gone into that area. Some of the players have been saying it's been a bit of frustration that the Scarlets haven't been sort of recognised for that, even in last season when a lot of work was going in. If you're looking at it now and how the work that's gone through the pre-season into the first two games, how pleased are you with that platform, particularly going into Europe?
Yeah, it's vital. Doesn't matter what you've got from 9 to 15. If 1 to 8 isn't setting the platform, then you're really going to struggle to impact and dominate games. So Danny came in last year and has had a big impact. We've had a different mentality for the scrum and the line-out probably as well. Recruitment was important, and who we brought in into those positions, and I think that's starting to be rewarded now with some of the performances we're seeing. Some young guys have come to the fore as well, again, assisted by some really good technical coaching, and I think now we're starting to see not only the starting 8, but there's a platform that they can deliver, but then you've got another 7 or 8 players that back up that, and the standard doesn't drop too much, and that's really important when you need the depth in the squad throughout the season. We've just lost Deacon. Manu with a broken arm, he could be out 12 to 16 weeks, so maybe a couple of years ago we'd be less comfortable with that happening. We're not comfortable with it happening. Obviously we lose Deacon, an experienced player, but we feel like we've got the depth and the strength now in certain positions to possibly deal with those sort of issues, and hopefully that will continue as we go along into a big period this month. And
behind the scrum, obviously showing a bit of versatility really in terms of your back's ability to sort of move position, and that's something you've really been trying to create as well.
Yeah, I think getting the best players on the pitch, it might mean that certain players have got to adjust slightly and play different position, but I think they're all capable of doing that. We are short in certain areas. That means that we've got to compensate and make sure that players can move around a little bit, and there's a bit of flexibility in the way we play, but also in the way individuals play in certain positions. And I think we'll certainly work on the next couple of weeks our best combinations, which will hopefully set us up nicely for the next month ahead.
Quick word on the Dragons. Obviously you probably won't look at the record so much, but I mean I think it's 10 wins for Scarlets Dragons to the Scarlets in so far. Rodney Parade, obviously a very, very difficult place to go. How do you just look at this in one game this week and you prepare, or do you think about the history at all in that preparation?
I think it's important that we don't get too concerned about the history, but know that we can go away from home like we did last year on a number of occasions and win a lot of games on the road. It's only an hour and a half up the road. You know, we've got to be able to mentally prepare just the same as if we were playing at home. Deal with a little bit of hostility, which is great. Some players will thrive on that, and I'm sure our players will on the weekend, and hopefully we can come out of there with a good performance. Then the result will look after itself. It's always a really, for me, a really exciting place to go and play rugby, and the support is certainly behind the Dragons, and no better place to go and get a result and walk away with a point. So they'll be well coached, you know, they'll be well drilled, and we've seen already that they've started the season with lots of confidence. But we've got to make sure that we stamp our own game on the Dragons. Hopefully that's good enough to come away with the points.
Okay, well, all the best on Friday night, Simon.